Here we are with Recorder for Everyone. This is basic recorder lesson number 4. This is where we're going to begin to learn how to read music. And yes, you can do it. I've taught people of all ages how to read music. If you just stick with this, you'll learn how to play the soprano recorder and you'll learn how to read music also. And this is just going to open up a whole new world for you where you can play recorder music, you can play in groups, you can go look for thousands of simple recorder books out there at a level that you can play at. Now I am assuming that you have done lessons 1, 2, 2A, and 3. So I don't like to do a lot of reviews, so if you're still not clear on tone production in the first 3 notes and how to put your recorder together, please go back and review those lessons. But today we're going to move right on. Last lesson we learned our first 3 notes, B, A, and G. And if you're in a solfege system of movable do, then in this case it was mi, re, and do. We're just going to do a quick warm-up with those 3 notes. As we said in lesson 3, our left hand goes on the top. We're getting our right hand out of the way because we just don't need it right now. So we just got it right out of the way. Our thumb is covering that back hole. B, A, G, or mi, re, do. And just a quick reminder, if you're still getting some squeaks, it's 2 things. You're either blowing too loud or one of your fingers is just slipping off one of the holes somewhere. So once again, you have the balls of your fingers. Just feel for those holes on the recorder. All right, we're going to do some echoes today. Echoes mean that I point to myself, I play something, and I'm going to play the 3-note pattern that we've done in lesson 1 and lesson 3. And then when I'm done playing those 3 notes, I'm going to point to you and you're going to play that same thing. So get your recorders ready. And I'm going to start on a G today or a do rather than B or mi. Now some of you out there in recorder land are going to notice that I'm playing with my little finger underneath the recorder like this. Since I'm going to be playing one-handed today, I have to do that in order to balance the recorder. Yes, I know that's not where it normally goes. So all you little recorder geniuses out there, you don't have to comment on it. So here we go. I'm going to start. Get your G fingered. Now finger your A. Then finger your B. And now I'm going to play mi, re, do, or B, A, G. So that's our quick little warm-up. I'm hoping you've been working on that during this past, since the last lesson. Now during the last lesson, we talked about learning to play hot cross buns by ear. That was our goal. Now if you didn't learn how to play it by ear, today I'm going to help you out because I've got all the notes up there. And these notes are going to transfer to the musical staff where we eventually learn how do we read them there. But let's just look at hot cross buns. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm hoping you can see it way back here, because that way you can also see my hand. I'm going to play hot cross buns, and then I'm going to ask you a question. So I want you to listen to it even if you already know how to play it. Did you notice that some notes were longer and shorter than other notes? That's what I want you to be aware of. If you noticed, these three G's, they were the longest notes. These were the quickest notes. And these notes were in between. If you don't have shorter and quicker notes in music, then everything sounds the same, and you just don't have anything that distinguishes one song from another. So that's why you have to have shorter and longer notes. Now, where do these shorter and longer notes go? Where do these B, A's, and G's go? Well, they go on something called the musical staff in the United States, or the stave in the United Kingdom, or countries like Australia and New Zealand. In a lot of Spanish-speaking countries, it's called the pentagramma, and it's called other things around the world. That staff or stave has 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's where you put notes. And you learn which of those lines and spaces are which particular notes. So now, I'm going to go over to this page, and you don't have to remember everything I'm talking about today. For instance, in soprano recorder playing and a lot of other instruments, we use something called the G clef or the treble clef. There's lots of different clefs, and they tell you what the different names of the lines and spaces are. So this G clef tells us that these 4 spaces, at least in systems that use letter names, it's F-A-C-E, it spells the English word face. The 5 lines are called E, G, B, D, and F. You don't have to remember all those at once. But since we learned how to play B first, that is the first note that we are going to learn how to read on the staff. And I'm going to bring this really close to you because I'm more interested in you seeing this than seeing me. So here's the B. The B sits on the middle line of the staff. The line goes right through the middle of the note. Here's the B we learned, thumb, first finger. Now, every single note on this page is a B because every single note on this page is on the middle line of the staff. It doesn't matter that they look different. That's not important. It's on the middle line of the staff, and when you see a note on the middle line of the staff, you are going to automatically finger your B or your me on the recorder. Now, some of these notes have stems. This one doesn't have a stem. You can totally ignore these numbers now. You don't have to pay any attention to them. Now, I'm going to play exercise 1, and I want you to listen because then I'm going to ask you another question. 1, so I have my B fingered because I know it's a B. 1, 2, here I go. Now, once again, did you notice that there were notes that were longer and shorter than others? The notes with the stems going down, well, actually, it's because they're colored in. They were the quickest notes. The circle without a stem, that was the longest note. Now, this is something you are going to want to eventually learn. Notes have values in music. So this note that's colored in, that has a stem going up, but the stem can also go down. And in the case of B, the stem right now is going down. That's quarter note, or in the British system, the crotchet. It only receives one count. Now our half note also has a stem, and that stem can go up and down also. That's not colored in, and that receives 2 beats. It's a minim in the British system. The whole note, which is not colored in, has no stem or a semi-breve. That's our longest note, and it gets 4 counts. That doesn't mean you play the note 4 times. It just means that if a beat is set, you let that sound last for 4 of those counts. If I played it 4 times, then it would be a quarter note. If I let this last for two beats, so that's how you make notes last longer and shorter than others. So if we go back to this exercise right here, where everything is a beat, then you're going to notice that we have all 3 of those kind of notes here. Here are the quarter notes or crotchets. Here are the half notes or minim. Here is the whole note or semi-breve. Now I'm going to play that again, and I want you to either play with me or listen again. 1, 2, here I go. I hear a little clog in my mouthpiece. We talked about that in lesson 2A, so what do? Suck up that moisture or condensation that's in there. All right, so here we had quarter notes. They got a little longer and they got a little longer. Let's play exercise 2 together. Get your B fingered. Make sure you're looking at the fact that this B is on the middle line of the staff. 1, 2, here we go. Okay, are you getting the idea? Now remember, make sure when you're playing a bunch of quarter notes in a row that you're not doing this, or the who. We're trying to get a nice sound where the tongue does the work, the lips don't move. No movement from the lips. Now let's look at exercise 3. Let me make sure you can see it. Again, they're all B's, but this time we're starting with a half note or a minim, so that first note is going to get 2 counts. 1, 2, here I go. Bad note at the end there. All right, so what I'd like you to do is make sure you're really good at this page. For some of you, you might have found this very easy. For other people, you might have to work on it a little bit, and that's okay. If you found it easy, I would go directly to lesson 5, where we're adding the reading of the A and the G on the musical staff. And then, aside from that, we're going to start to mix those notes up so you can learn how to read exactly where they are on the staff. We're still going to be using our quarter notes and our minims. Now, I would like to tell you that during this series of basic recorder lessons, we are going to be going through this book called Soprano Recorder for Everyone. I'm using all the pages that are in this book. This is the page we use today. You'll notice that it's large print. It has all the explanations. It's very methodical. It also comes with a CD that has accompaniments and demo files. So you can play with the demo version or you can play with the accompaniment version. That means you have music behind everything that we're doing. We're only mailing these in the United States right now, but you can get this online via streaming. Now, the whole book isn't yet available via streaming. We're working on that. But packages and individual songs are available via streaming. So check out that website at recorderforeveryone.com. And if you don't want to miss any of the lessons that are out there, hit subscribe so you'll know when a new lesson comes up. So thanks, and I'll see you for lesson 5.